Hello there. Okay, so video number 2. Now I'm doing these 10 videos of the 10 most terrifying tortures, terrifying to me that is, and I'm doing them in separate videos because I just think that each of these methods is so depraved and disturbing that they deserve their own video. So, right, number 2. Immurement, otherwise known as being buried alive. There are more than one form of being buried alive, and the worst of them, in my opinion, would have to be, the old in a box, 6 foot under, still alive kind of situation. That's really, really fucked. And the biggest thing about it that's terrifying is the panic and psychological sort of shock of the situation and the claustrophobia. But there's also just being buried alive, no box, just soil on top of you. And in my opinion, a really scary idea, and one of my worst fears actually, being buried up to the neck in sand, because when you're immured up to the neck in sand, somebody else, whoever has inflicted that situation on you, they can come by and feed you and, give you water and keep you basically alive for as long as they want to. And you're just left there in the ground with your own thoughts and the claustrophobia. And if it's by a beach, the water, the tide coming in and everything will make the sand compact around you. And just if you get both hands and press really hard on your chest and then try and breathe, like, I'm a smoker, so obviously it's a little bit tougher for me to breathe anyway, but if you push onto your chest and then try and breathe in, that's probably only about half the actual pressure that sand constricting you would be. So even just the very act of breathing would be a difficulty in that situation. Not to mention exposure to the elements again. Animals, if you're in a remote area, anything could come along and start eating away at your fucking head if you're buried up to the neck in sand. It's a really, really horrific method of getting rid of somebody. It really is horrible. Um, Whereas if you're in a casket underground, 6 foot under, in a box, you've got maybe 2 hours, and yeah, it's a horrific 2 hours, but it is only 2 hours of torture. So, yeah, the Japanese experimented with live burial in, I believe, the 1940s, somewhere, in the Second World War, and they even let the people who were buried, they let their families come and visit them, and they would give them a tube so that they could breathe and have food passed down the tube and keep them alive for even longer. The mafia used to wrap people up in cling film, sellotape a hose pipe into their mouth, put them in a grave and cover it with concrete so that they had an air source. They couldn't move at all, couldn't do anything other than just lay there and wait to die. Being buried alive has to be in the top 10 most terrifying tortures of all time. So there you go. I will be back tomorrow with torture number 3. See ya on the flip side.